What's up, everybody? Rocking and rolling today. So let's tackle this good question. So you can see in the notes here, Cara, I think it's how you say your name, Cara, and Dorothy asked a couple different questions. And I just want to make sure I kind of combine these because I think they're the same. This is like last week. So you two, thanks for the questions. Ultimately, it comes down to this. And I tell you what, I feel this all the time, right? How do you get so much done, particularly if you're trying to scale and grow? So you might have a done for you agency, a one-on-one coaching consulting thing. You're scaling that, or you're scaling into a group mastermind of your own, building your own high ticket mastermind. Yay, you. Fastest, simplest way to scale I've ever seen. Now, here's the thing. It's overwhelming sometimes, right? Sometimes we're like rocking and rolling to this thing. And we're like, I got one thing working, but adding something else is like adding a whole nother business model. It feels like that's really daunting. And that's important to figure out. So here's a couple of things that really will help you as you're sorting this out. Again, if you're scaling what you've already got going, even if it's just a done for you offer or a one-on-one coaching offer, you're just trying to add more of those. Again, be careful. That's a dead end street there of just burning so many hours and not being able to actually scale for real. But you're building a group coaching program and scaling done for you agencies extremely easy to do as well. Ultimately, it comes down to a couple of key things though. You got to prioritize. It's an issue of priority. Let's just back this up. It's an issue of prioritization, knowledge, and then the one big key. Okay. And I'm not holding out on you with one big key, but to make this make sense, let me go after prioritization and knowledge. Okay. Prioritization. Which thing do I do first, right? Not rocket science. Remember that old 1990s analogy of all the great speakers were talking motivational speaking, put the big rocks in first and little rocks and then the sand, and then you can add water to it or whatever they'd put in their jars in those examples. It's true. You got to put the big rocks in first. What are the few priorities, top 1, 2, or 3 priorities you've got to get done today? Just think about that way. Don't think about the year. Don't think about the quarter. Don't think about the month. What are the top couple of priorities you got to get done today? All right. What is it? Oh my gosh, I got to finish this email sequence. Oh, I got to reply to all these messages on this social media platform or whatever. Oh my gosh, I got to reply to these 3 clients. That's so important. Okay, write those down. Do those things. Those are important. Now, make sure as you're thinking through priorities that you're not chasing what you think is most important based on which fire is the hottest, right? That usually means someone else is setting priorities for you. But what are your priorities based on what you know you need in your business? If you're like, well, my prospects and clients, they are really hammering me. I got to get this stuff done. Cool. Get it done. But what do you think is the most important thing? If you're like, oh, well, I actually need more prospects. I'm getting clients in, I'm crushing the work, but now I've stopped prospecting completely. I got to go back and re-prospect so I can keep doing work 2 months from now once this is all finished. Then prioritize prospecting. If you're like, Chris, I got prospects coming in and I got a couple of clients that I got from referrals, but I can't figure out how to close these cold prospects. They come into my audience and I have no idea how to make them turn to clients. Then prioritize that. What is the transformation, the sales piece? How are you going to actually get them to commit? What does that offer and that pitch need to look like? Again, prioritization is first, okay? What are the things that are the most important things that you know you need in your business? You don't have to go back and read a book. You don't have to listen to a new podcast. You don't have to watch anything on YouTube. You know right now, check your gut. What do you need right now? You're going to say something like, well, it's more prospects, or it's, I got prospects that I got to close, or I'm closing prospects like crazy. I've got more business I can handle. I got to freaking hire somebody, but I can't figure out how to crack the code on hiring somebody and getting the systems in place. Great. Write down the priority you have now. What is that priority? That's the most important thing. 1, 2, or 3 priorities. Write those down. You probably can't handle and solve all 3 priorities today, unless they're just checkboxes. There's going to be some knowledge involved, right? That's point number 2. So you got your priorities figured out, write them down. If you're like, Chris, these are priorities for the next quarter, next 6 months, next month, whatever. Great, write them down. Now let's talk knowledge. Do you know how to do those priorities? Okay. Do you know, let's say it's prospecting. Do you know how to prospect? Do you know how to consistently generate leads? Let's say you got leads coming in. Do you know how to create the right offer and close those leads? If you don't, we got a knowledge issue. Let's say you got leads coming in and they're closing. And you're like, Chris, I got all the business I can handle. I don't know how to hire somebody. I've hired 10 staff members virtually in the past year, and it's all been a failure. And you wonder, is it you or is it them? But you're starting to think maybe it's me. then lean in, ask questions. You got a knowledge issue, right? Those knowledge issues are so big because most of us intuitively can figure out, okay, I got prospects, excuse me, got prospects coming in. I got to close some leads and I got to make sure that I can do the work, right? It's pretty straightforward. Prospecting, closing the leads with the right offer, and then getting the work done. Workflow, right? Those are the three big things we do in business. Now, if you know which one you're weak in and you know where you're getting stuck, all three or one or two, great. Identify that priority set. Then it comes down to, do you know how to fix it? If you don't know how to fix it, ask questions. We have an amazing amount of resources here in this community. Literally hundreds of videos and templates all sorted out so you can just pick what you need, learn how to do it, and start executing. If you realize, Chris, I don't need to know how to do this, man. I need somebody else to do it for me. Then lean in, like learn how to delegate, learn how to build the basic system you need, learn how to create a simple SOP you can hand off to someone else, and then learn how to manage that person to have someone else do it for you. Like, Chris, I don't want to bring in my own staff. I want to hand it off to another agency to do the work. Great. Then lean in. There are thousands of people here at Group Coach Nation. I promise you, there's probably 20 or 30 agencies or freelancers who do what you need doing, and they'll do it for you, right? Okay. If it's a knowledge issue, you can overcome that. Of all the issues out there, honestly, the knowledge issue is the easiest one to overcome because someone else knows how to do it. You can learn it yourself or you can outsource it to somebody else. Those are your options. Get your priorities straight and then decide, do I have time to do this myself, my team, or myself? Or do I need to outsource it to somebody else? Okay, that's step number 2. Deep breath here, folks. Deep breath. Here comes step number 3. And this is the hardest one. It is, do you have the capacity as a leader, as the person you are today, to do these things, to oversee these things, to keep these dreams alive, to not get too scrambled up? For me personally, I can handle 2 brands at a time, okay? I've tried so many times to add a third thing to my world, and I cannot handle it. Even though I have an amazing team that gets so much execution done, I freaking can't do that kind of work. I can't get it done. I can't keep enough things in my head at once to lead that many projects. When I say 2 different brands, I mean like 2 completely different companies, okay? I run a done-for-you agency that I never talk about in this community because we work with surgeons and subspecialties in rural communities. Like, it's not related to this at all. That's one part of my brain. The other part of I only work like an hour and a half a week in that whole thing. I got a great team that runs it, but it still takes up mind share, right? You're still worrying about, thinking about it. You got stuff going on there, okay? The other thing over here, Group Coach Nation stuff that I do, it takes up mind share, right? I can do 2 things at a time like that. Now, here's what gets complicated. If I've got a couple of priorities I've identified in 2 different business models, and I'm figuring out how to handle them, I'm either doing some learning personally as a leader, or I'm hiring somebody else and outsourcing it to somebody else, or my team is doing that, that's great. But now I've got 1, 2, and 3 priorities over here in the agency, and I got 1, 2, or 3 priorities over here in the coaching side of things. This gets really complicated. So you got to have a really serious conversation with yourself, like a for real gut check. Are you capable right now of juggling that many things at once? Now, being capable doesn't mean you're smart or stupid. Often it means, are you organized enough? Are you organized enough? Do you have a place where you can clearly lay out your ideas and keep track of those ideas and not let them kind of tangle up and get all overwhelming in your head? Because we're entrepreneurs, that's how it works, right? We got to get those things out of our heads onto some sort of structure, a whiteboard, a set of sticky notes, a spreadsheet, a document, whatever helps you stay organized. You got to get those things organized. You got to nail down the priorities. And then here's the self-discipline part. This is point number 3, right? We've prioritized. We're figuring out if we got to do it ourselves or get somebody else to do it. But keeping up with all these things is point number 3. Are we capable leaders? So once you get those ideas out on a document, on a whiteboard, on sticky notes, whatever, are you capable of staying disciplined enough with your thoughts, with your intentionality, with the noise going on around everything, to stay focused on the 1, 2, or 3 priorities you've established? Now, here's the thing. Just because you go to a new conference, just because you see somebody's new ad sequence, just because somebody's out there creating noise and you're like, wow, that person's amazing, or that product or service is amazing. Yeah, there's a lot of amazing people out there. You're one of them. And there's a lot of cool products and services out there. You've got some. But here's the thing. You've got to decide which things are you going to focus on. Nail that down. I promise you, nothing in the world of competition that you live in, your other competitors out there in your market space, nothing's going to change so drastically with those competitors in the next 30 days that it's going to change your life or your business model. Pick 3 things and focus in and execute. Now, you're probably thinking, like I would be if I was you, yeah, Chris, things change, man. Look at the past couple of years, dude. Things freaking change. I get that. But here's the thing. They change for everybody at once. Okay? Everybody changes together. But let's take something drastic. The social media platform we've all known about for a long, long time, which I happen to be broadcasting live on right now. They're changing their name or their brand or whatever. Cool. But here's the thing. That doesn't fundamentally change how to market or prospect or talk to clients. It's relationships, folks. It's relationships. The branding or rebranding, whichever platform lives or dies or succeeds or fails in the marketplace, it's still actual relationships. Hey, what's up there, guys? Hey, great to see you. It can't be a challenge with 2. Yeah, it can be a super challenge with 2 businesses. Oh my gosh, you're right. So true. Thanks for hanging out, by the way. Good to see everybody. So here's the thing. Regardless of what your big thing is, whatever you're trying to accomplish, anchor down those top 1, 2, 3 priorities. Figure out what you have to learn or outsource about each of those priorities, and then be disciplined enough as an entrepreneur to execute every freaking day on those priorities. Do that for a month. If it's prospecting, prospect, find someone to prospect with you, have team help. You've identified a priority, nail that priority down, get the learning done, get it done. Outsource it or learn how to do it yourself, but do it for 30 days straight. Man, yeah, clarity is so important, right? Good comment there. Here's the thing. If we don't get our priorities straightened out, then we don't know which things we got to learn about. And if we don't have our priorities straightened out and the things we got to learn about, then we ultimately don't know which things we should act on. And when we're really fuzzy over here about, I got so many things I could do, which one should I do? That means you got to go back and set those priorities. Which things are most important? Learn what you got to learn or outsource it, and then drill it every single day, 5 days a week, 3 days a week, whatever you work, every single work day until you crack the code on that. Set it for 30 days. If you're like, Chris, what if I got to change things in 30 days? Awesome. Set it for 30 days. I set mine for 90 days. Every 90 days, we reestablish and redesign our priorities. Believe it or not, they don't change a whole lot. We just refocus. I do it every 90 days, and I stay after it. Right now, when I'm recording this, I am in the middle of a 90-day sequence. We do our planning quarterly. We're 5 weeks into this quarter, something like that, almost 6. Great. At the 6-week mark, we review our priorities, make sure we're still on track, nobody's getting distracted, and we keep executing. 2 to 95% of what we do as entrepreneurs, as people leading our own agencies, our own one-on-one coaching or group coaching, if you're trying to figure that out, more than 90% of it is all about execution. The other 5% is simply picking the priority and learning what you got to learn to execute on the priority. After that, it's simply marching forward, getting it done. The people that you see out there who you think are more successful to you, they're one of 2 things. They're either full of BS and they aren't cooler and better than you at what they do. All right. We're in marketing. We know it happens. Or they're drilling the execution. They're getting stuff done. And they're not tangled up in everybody else's noise. You can do the same thing. Great question, Cara and Dorthy. Hope that answered that question. Like, great question. I frequently hear, y'all know me. I don't work a ton. I love systems. I love people. Lean in. We'll show you how to do it. We build our digital agencies and then sell our expertise and teach people how to do that. It's what we do. I'm drinking my own Kool-Aid here, folks. This is the real deal. Now, here's the thing. It's a horrible reference, right? Bottom line, you got to know what your priorities are. And bottom line, you got to do the stuff. There's no get rich quick out there. Do the work, get the results. If you want to know which work is the right work, please lean in and ask questions. There's no secrets here. We will tell you. Like, I just need to hear, and my coaching staff needs to hear, shoot us a message, whatever. Like, we got so much content here to help you decide which things should I be doing next. Or you're welcome to jump on a quick call with one of our coaching staff. We're pretty booked out, but we'll get you on the calendar. Like, just tell us, here's what's going on. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm trying to build. What should I do now? What are the next steps? I promise you, it's not rocket science. It's simple, making clear decisions with clear information and executing. I know that seems overly simple, but it's just that simple. It really, really is. I was going to say a second ago, y'all know that I don't work a ton, hour and a half a week, maybe in my Done For You marketing agency. We work with all the surgeons and stuff we mentioned a second ago. And then I don't know if I'm working like crazy, leading 2 masterminds, creating content, jumping on podcasts, all the things that we do to run the Group Coach Nation side of things. That might be 10 or 15 hours a week of work. I'm guessing something like that. The reason I don't have to do a ton is because I've clearly identified the priorities, just like I'm telling you to do. I've figured out which things I should be doing and which things someone else should be doing, my team, or outsourcing it completely. And I've figured out how to stay focused on that. Early on, when cash flow was a little tighter and I had to figure out, well, I'm kind of the guy who has to do a lot of it, it was even more critical to anchor down, what are the priorities? What do I have to learn about? How can I quickly execute? Simplicity is key. Cut out the overwhelm. Simplicity is key. All right. I'm not a huge fan. You can know our links, our lack of links, our lack of pitching, our lack of just asking you guys into all kinds of creepy, free, crappy offers. Sorry. It's my opinion of it. That's not what we do here. If you want help on that, if you want to scale and grow, if you're ready to move, send me a private message. All right. Just that simple. Drop me a comment here. If you can't find a way to private message me, drop me a comment here. We'll find it. And we'll get on a call with you. It's me or somebody else on our team. I'm not trying to push you away and make you talk to somebody else on our team. We're just busy, right? We only got so many hours in the day we want to work. Same with you. I want you to stay focused. But we will point you in the right direction. If we have free resources, we'll point you there. If there's somebody in our community like, oh, this person's obviously got to talk to so-and-so, they should work together, we're right there with you. If you want to join one of our programs and we believe it's a good fit and it would make you win, we'll let you know. But it comes down to you knowing what are your priorities, which things should and shouldn't you be doing, and then full on execution. That's what we're all about here. All right, kids, peeps, y'all. It's great seeing you. Get out there and do the work to get the results. We say that every time we talk. Do work, get results. That's how this thing works.